So Joseph, I've been the volunteer coordinator for almost half a year now, and I've been telling your story twice a day, but I've never heard it from you.
Okay, so welcome. This is our first warehouse. We just had these refrigerators here, and I would come in at night, put the stuff in to be cooled overnight, and then taken out the next morning, serving maybe a few hundred meals a week. And today turned into what it is, serving hundreds of thousands of people on a weekly basis. It's kind of hard to imagine.
So where are we going next?
So now we're headed over to our first distribution center, which you're gonna see was formerly a chicken coop.
This is where the chicken coop was?
This construction site over here, originally we took those refrigerators from my house and we put them in here, and then after a few months, we raised a little bit of money and we built our first walk-in refrigerator. Volunteers would come here during day and during the night. Food was getting picked up, dropped off, packaged, redistributed. There's a lot of action here for a bunch of years till we grew out of the place and we needed to move. We couldn't believe when we moved from the chicken coop to this. Here's the old refrigerator, 300 meters of refrigeration space, which when we built it was like, we're crazy, it's so big. What are we ever gonna do with it? If we got one big crate of potatoes, we would dance the hora. You know, now there are days we can take 100 of those. So much good work was done here. I mean, this is where the organization, where we really grew. We worked here for a decade. It was incredible.
Was there like this moment that it all came to action?
And we're here at Eden Alamayim, where we had that eureka moment. I was at an affair and just saw so much food going to waste at the end. And I asked, what's happening with this food? And they said, well, we're gonna give a little bit to the families, we're gonna feed our team, and then everything is thrown away because the expectation is for the next customer that the food is fresh. And I think I went home that night and just okay, what can I do here to try to help? The thought that today you have 200,000 plus Israelis getting help from Leket every week and feeding them healthy fruits and vegetables, which just would have gone to waste. It's just so staggering to think back, to think that, could have never happened.
So what was the next step?
I just took out my dictionary, wrote down some words that I thought I would need for my initial conversations, which were all to small catering firms and halls. Do you have leftover food? Yes. And would you give it to me? Almost unanimous response of, where were you yesterday? When can you come? We can't wait to donate this food. I would go out 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, one event which was in Yafo, and about 3 in the morning, the phone starts ringing. Yossi, where are you? We've been waiting for you. Why aren't you here? And my wife kicks me and says, if you're really serious about this, you better get up. By 3:30, I was in Jaffa, and by 4 a.m., that food was being eaten. People were so excited to have that level of food. They also got up.
Hour later, the mitzvah was already delivered.
You're here with the people, you're with the volunteers, you're here with the not-for-profits.
It's amazing. Every day, these bleachers fill up twice with volunteers. They could be from high-tech companies or from the army or just pensioners, my favorite. Every day, 2 groups, twice a day, and then they come and we start our mission, and people have a lot of good energies when they come in because they feel the good energy of this logistics center and they know that they're doing something good. I finish up every shift with the schools that we have down south that are for youth at risk, and we've run this research, what is the impact of 1 cooked meal a day on violence. Usually when I describe it, I think that I'm some romantic, optimistic person, but then stands this 35-year-old young man and he says, I am that young man. I work for this company. I grew up in Dimona. We used to have 1 cooked meal a day in our school, and I can tell you for a fact that it changed the course of my life. I started crying. He started crying because suddenly this whole Leket story was for real for that person.
Since 2009, we've been fortunate to have a great leader running the show here at Leket. That's not me, that's someone else. Giddy Kroch. Giddy, welcome.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
He's the man, though. He invented this whole thing.
When he started in Leket, that was one of the tests to see how many of these he could hold at a time.
Oh,
Let's see if he can still do it.
Remember, we got this meter by 3 by 3 by 3 of frozen cabbage from Sunfrost, and we stood and we chiseled at it.
I remember that.
The chicken coop.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is We actually store this and wait for the Mizam, which is the government program for food insecurity. So we take the best produce that we have. You see it's nice and firm, although the coloring isn't perfect. And this will go to about 2,000 families in the south of Israel. The best produce we have for the poorest people in the country that we deliver through this government program.
So 20 years in, you took this job, you thought it was going to be something temporary, you didn't really know much about the charity world.
Nothing. I think that the organization and the opportunity to be the manager of this huge and amazing organization gave me a lot more than what I gave to the organization. It's sad that there are people like that, and it's sad that I have to learn it, but at least we can do something to alleviate this problem.
That's true. I'm always very thankful that Leket exists.
Even remember that day when you said, do we really need all this space? Even now, in this huge place that we have right now, we're tight. We're only doing about 5% of what's available out there, so I think we can grow tremendously. We've almost doubled ourselves in what we had in the last 3 years.
Budget's only grown by 50%. Why is Leket getting all this stuff?
Farmers can never plan exactly what they have. It's good that they have actually surplus, but the question is really what we do with the surplus.
Trucks really do exist. See everyone?
You should come and see it with your eyes.
Yeah.
It's different than hearing about it in Joseph's stories and my stories.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.